Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, today I'm going to be flying this high-performance piston airliner that I designed from West Palm Beach to... where are we going today? To Atlanta. That's right, Atlanta. This 400 miles an hour piston airliner, the 39-100, can carry up to 150 passengers or so, but I'm going to carry 140 today with 8 crew members. The payload is 29,600. Okay, fuel. We burn about 4,500 pounds of fuel an hour, so we'll take... I don't even know how far this flight is. Oh yes, I do. I just remembered. Right, so it'll take about 1.8 hours plus 1 hour's reserve fuel. Okay, so that's going to be... excuse me, not... 12,500 pounds of fuel. Gross weight's 124. Which means that we... we'll cruise to takeoff speed will be 125. The initial climb speed is 153. We'll cruise at 21,000 feet. No, 20,000 feet, sorry. And the optimum speed is about 238 knots. Okay, so there we go. So the weather in West Palm Beach is shit at the moment. We have actually at the moment it hasn't got that bad. It is quite windy though. So 16 knots, gusting to 25. That's pretty pathetic. Pathetically windy, and we'll be taking off therefore to the southeast on runway 10 left today. Good. So what the fuck? Sorry, I mean, excuse me, I won't say that again, I promise. I promise, I won't. What the bloody hell? What the bloody hell? Sorry about that. Right. So this Xplane shall now load our flight up perfectly. Without crashing, of course. And so I'll talk a bit about this aeroplane, a 1950 era airliner. In order to achieve such high speeds with piston engines, it uses turbochargers and requires a very high power output to cruise at the speeds it does. It can cruise at 400 miles an hour. It has a very high power output. It can maintain 10,000 HP in the cruise, which is a huge amount of power, but that's how much you need for a plane like this, cruising at 400 miles an hour. There might be a headwind today, so that, if there is, that will mean the speed will unfortunately be lower than 400 miles an hour. So I guess we can hope that there isn't, but there probably will be. Actually, whoops, I've just turned that off. What a dickhead. Hang on a minute. It is windy as hell out here right today. It's just... I hate... Probably one of the worst weather conditions is just windy. Right, so I turn all this shit on, turn that on, turn that on, turn that on, that's on. Put our flight plan in. KPBI, I think it is, isn't it? KPBI. It takes a long time to find it. I have to keep going through all these flight plans. About 1 million flight plans here. This flight plan is actually wrong, so there's a couple of waypoints I need to delete in it. But I might do that after takeoff. We could do it before takeoff, I don't know. So we're going to Atlanta today, so... It would be really good if we can have a headwind on this, a tailwind, no, well, no headwind, anyway, whatever, so, right, so yeah, that's right. No, I think I'll just delete the waypoints I need to delete later, so. There's the wing view, I always have to have wing views. Great view. Oops, what am I doing? What an idiot. Right, so let's get pushback.
Okay, push cart coming.
So we're aiming to cruise at 20,000 feet, but if I see that a big headwind is
Here we
appearing,
go.
I'm not going to cruise at 20,000 feet. It might have to be lower. But we'll see how it goes. I'm going to put 10,000 feet in the altitude window to begin with, just so... just to see what our speeds are like as we climb higher.
Okay, give me a second to clear.
Yeah, get lost. Right, engine start 1. Super realistic engine start sounds, not. Engine start 2. 3. 4. Oh, flaps 10. 15, sorry. I think that's 15. I don't actually know. Is that 15? I don't know. No, that's 15. Right, yeah. Okay. Weather is absolute shit. We've got this wind, and of course we're going to miss the rain coming in though. Got to work out which way I'm doing exactly here. Always behind us. When I say shit weather, I mean it's just very windy. Which is really annoying. So anyway, we'll be, what was I going to say? We did a dry takeoff today, no water injection on. This plane does have water injection for the heavy weights, but the weight is below the threshold for water injection. We put water injection on above 130,000 pounds, but we're below that, so it'll be a dry takeoff today. So it'd be maximum dry power. The takeoff. Climb speed, so probably like 210 would be reasonable, I think. That's what it looks like on the outside. I think this is a pretty attractive looking plane. The wind is really strong today. I haven't even turned any of the engine generators on, not a retard. Right, turn those on, put the APU off now. If it goes. Alright. Runway 14. We're on the wrong runway. We're supposed to be on runway 10 left. Where is that? Over there. Who cares? Right, take off anyway. Right, good. Right, takeoff speed will be 125 knots. Dry power. Up we go. Flaps in. Set clamp. Keep an eye on the ground speed as we climb higher. If I find that it's not really going up, then I know that we have an increase in headwind, which of course would be rather rubbish. We'll see how it goes. Right, so the two waypoints I think we need to delete are... I have to make sure I do this correctly. Oh shit, yeah, I'm starting to do it wrong already. How do I do it? Oh, okay, no, wait, it's right, so that one, clear... I think that one needs to go... yes. So now that's showing the correct distance, and if we take a look at our flight plan, you can see... That's correct now. Correct distance is showing. You see how bumpy it is, the wing is wobbling up and down, it's bumpy as hell out here, it's windy, turbulent, cloudy. Not a good day, and we'll see what's going to happen later in the flight. We want to see what the weather's going to be like. Get off once. The weather's really even shitter in Atlanta. It looks really windy there as well, and low clouds broken at 1100 overcast 1700. Terrible. All in a day's work. So we're currently at 3,000 feet and our ground speed is 239. I'm just going to keep an eye on the ground speed and make sure it's going up consistently. Just dropped 1 knot, like why? Don't tell me we're already starting to get headwinds already. Yeah, we are. Like, seriously, what the hell? Probably going to have to speed up into this headwind then, because this is crazy. We're going to have... I think there's a storm system over the States, and it's like... There's a strong jet stream, probably, as we get higher anyway, and it's like certainly there's a strong wind coming in. It's not what we want. Try and keep on as much speed as possible. We have no fuel in the central tank. The plane has wingtip tanks which have some fuel in there, and wing tanks have the fuel in there. 4,000 pounds of fuel in each wing tank and 1,400 pounds of fuel in each tip tank. About to go into some thick clouds now. So, to all of my million subscribers, I must remind you to smash down that like bell and, make sure that you like the video. Thank you. How many subscribers do I have these days? Like, I'm not exactly Captain Canada, as you can see, 12 subscribers, wow. Doing well. Nice. Just think, just under 1,000 more subscribers, and I can start monetizing my videos. Anyway, we're just above the cloud layer here at 5,000. Not really picking up much speed, ground speed wise, so I think there's going to be an increasing headwind, unfortunately, in this flight as well. With all the power this plane has a lot of power, we're going to hopefully be able to get the speed as high as I can on this flight with the headwind. Right, so yeah. I know at the moment I'm climbing in vertical speed hold. That's not really the correct mode for climbing generally, but we're using it because it's so bumpy, it's so windy and turbulent that if the plane was in speed hold mode it would be pitching up and down constantly to hold the speed, so we're not going to use that at the moment. If we could get a ground speed of at least 300, that would at least be good. 300 ground speed, even if there's a headwind, that would give us 345 miles an hour. It's not great. So this plane can generally cruise at 400, but with a headwind, that's obviously not going to happen. Don't forget, friends, smash down that like button. Who knows, if I do this flight successfully, I might pick up another subscriber. Though I wouldn't bet on it, would you? Let's have another exterior shot. Still bumpy as hell, as can be seen, bouncing around everywhere. Ground speed 253, so it's still going up a little. If it starts dropping, I'll either increase the power or level off and cruise lower. Because like I say, I mean, initially we're going to check it out the performance at 10,000 feet, and if I can keep climbing, that's cool. If not, well, we'll just level off earlier. The speed's kind of just stuck at 253 right now, it's not even going up anymore. And that's really damn slow. It is going up, but looks like it's getting a bit smoother. Yeah. Not bouncing around all over the place any longer. In that case, we could go to speed hold and hold our current speed. So normally when we're climbing at a given airspeed, our ground speed should be getting higher as we climb. If it's not, that means we have an increasing headwind, so keeping an eye on that ground speed, we should be seeing it going up constantly. If it's not, we'll level off and cruise lower. Ideally in the cruise I want to have a ground speed of at least 300 on this plane, but generally 350 is what you get. Assuming there's no headwinds. Okay, passing 9,000, so let's see. We'll make a decision by 9,500 if I'm going to continue climbing above 10,000 feet. Actually, the ground speed's still going up, so yeah, I will. I think I'll... Let's take it initially to 12,000. See, well, as we approach 12,000 feet, again, I'll see how the ground speed is looking. And decide on if I'm going to keep climbing. Not quite as quick as a jet, but you know. Long way to this next waypoint. Very long way. 193 nautical miles. Ground speed's 258. I think it's still going up. Yeah, 259. So the current speed, let's just work it out. Take 1.6 hours. So this plane is pressurised at the moment. It's pressurised to hold cabin pressure of 7,500 feet. It's also turbocharged, obviously, to maintain power as we get higher. Turbocharging is cheating the plane's engines to believe they're still operating close to sea level, by kind of recycling the power from the exhaust to drive the engines at higher manifold pressure than if it was naturally aspirated, in which case it would be losing a lot of power by this point and not be able to climb this high and fly this fast. So at the moment the plane is still giving us 10,000 HP, which is a huge amount of power, which will allow it to keep climbing to 20,000 feet. Okay, we're going to continue to climb because the ground speed's still improving. So everybody watching the video knows what all these instruments are, of course, presumably, but I'm going to talk about the engine instruments on this plane as well, because they're obviously for a piston plane, so there aren't very many of those around these days, especially not this size. So the top one here, we've got engine RPM 2700, power in horsepower, I believe that one is. I think that's, yeah, that's HP, that's 2500 per engine. The maximum's for 3,500, I believe. And it can maintain 2,500 HP up to 20,000 feet. Fuel flow gallons hour 175 in climb power per engine. That's, let's see, 175 times 6, so that's 1,000 pounds an hour an engine at the moment. Engine exhaust temperature 630 degrees centigrade, I think that is. Propeller RPM 1050. Manifold pressure at the bottom 65 inches at the moment. 65 inches is only possible with the use of a high-powered turbocharger. The maximum on this plane is 80 with water injection. Water injection is not used on the takeoffs though, because the weight was 6,000 pounds below the threshold. We use water injection above 130,000 pounds gross takeoff weight. Water injection is turned on with the button underneath on the bottom right. It says boost on or off, at the moment off. And of course when it's turned on it only lasts about 5 minutes. On this point. That's quite a long time actually, but we have about 5 minutes. I think it's about 5 minutes of water injection if required. Do another time check on this now, so we have 388 by 268. 1.44 hours. So we're not really speeding up that much, are we? We're going to keep the climb going to at least 16,000 feet because the ground speed is getting higher. Got some big clouds to the left of us here. Looks okay straight ahead. Suddenly lost a whole bunch of visibility. Good old Xplane weather suddenly changing in like, 1 second flat. As it does. Because every flight I do uses real world weather and it's very unpredictable and changeable on Xplane. It will update it every, I think, 15 minutes and it will suddenly change. Sometimes it'll suddenly change the wind speed and the plane will almost fall out of the sky, or it's suddenly got visibility back again. I think, personally, the clouds on Xplane 11, even these are the stock Xplane 11 clouds, they look pretty good, actually. I don't think they look any worse than some of those on the Microsoft 2020 or whatever. I think they look pretty good. No complaints about that. Ground speed's up to 273 as we pass 15,000 feet. Gonna make sure it's still going up as we pass 15,500 and then we could continue climbing. Continue to climb to 18,000. So some other details about this plane. The maximum weight is 148,500 pounds. The maximum power 3,500 HP per engine. So actually, it might be 4,000. I can't remember. With water injection, I think it's 3,800. But the total amount is about 15,000 horsepower with the maximum power rating and water injection on. Maximum cruising speed 400 miles an hour. Today with the headwind it looks like there probably won't be a cruising speed at anywhere near 400 miles an hour then. So the company who made these planes, this is a 1950 design. This was their last major airliner design before they started to go into the jet airliners. So the company who makes this plane, my company, shortly thereafter, in the mid-1950s, began to design their first jetliner. The problem with these large piston aeroplanes is that they started to have very poor reliability, because you're essentially having to force the engine to work as if it's running at sea level power with the turbocharging, which is very stressful for the engines. And propellers are not very efficient at high speeds as well, making it worse. So while these piston planes actually burn less fuel, not only was their fuel however more expensive, but also they had high maintenance costs. When we get onto a jet aeroplane like the first jetliners in the 50s, they burnt a lot more fuel, but jet fuel's half the price, and they have a lot less reliability problems with their engines. Also, obviously, the jet aeroplanes have a much higher altitude performance, and the jet engines themselves work much more efficiently at high altitude, unlike a piston engine. Typically over 30,000 feet for a jet airliner. And of course, the jet airliner has vastly superior climb performance. Piston airliners typically climb at well below 1,000 feet a minute, so of course even climbing to relatively lower altitudes takes a long time. Whereas on a jetliner you can see 3,000 feet per minute, or 4,000 below 10,000 feet, and 2,000 feet a minute, anywhere up to 30,000 feet. We're going to continue up to 20,000 on this flight. 20,000 feet would have been reached in probably barely 15 minutes or 10 minutes on a jetliner, compared to nearly the best part of an hour on a piston airliner. Showing just the vast difference in performance. Anyway, at least we're well high above the cloud layer. There's 18,000 feet, and our speed is now 285, so it's looking good for our cruise. We're going to be getting at least 300 knots, I think, in the cruise. 326 and 285. 1.14 hours. Don't forget to smash down that like button, friends. If we can get a goal of 2 likes on this video, I'll donate £10 to my favourite charity. Actually, no, I won't. But yeah. Let's not even say we did. Weather's just updating again. It's like it clears all the clouds away when it's updating and suddenly brings them back again. Hyper-realism. Clearly, on a piston airliner like this, it takes a long time to get up to speed. Not least because it takes a long time to get up to altitude, and of course, the higher you go, the thinner the air gets, and your ground speed goes up. These things definitely don't go up like a jetliner. But now, we've got 1,000 feet to go. .500 feet to go. level at 20,000, and we'll speed up now to our cruising speed. This is 238 knots airspeed. So Jacksonville coming up in 65 nautical miles. Just under that. Ground speed's now 302 and rising. Clearly there's some sort of headwind. Just get an idea of the wind direction in that monitor then. So it's going to be southwesterly wind, 10 miles an hour, gusts to 21 miles an hour. that just gave me a heart attack. Oh my god. Jeez. Noise. Anyway. Just approaching Jacksonville here. It's our first waypoint as well. It's like a long time to our first waypoint on this flight today. Is it our first waypoint? Actually, I'm not sure if it was. Can't remember. Quite honest with you, the sound of the plane makes you want to fall asleep, so when you're cruising you just try to stay awake. So we're almost directly over Jacksonville Airport, that's right, should see it somewhere. Well, I think there might be too many clouds to see it. It's clear. lost a little bit of ground speed in that turn there. We went into a headwind, as you can see. Headwind increasing. remember, kids, don't forget to smash down that like bell and subscribe. Just think in a week's time I might have 1,000 subscribers. Damn. So as can be seen, the tail, it has NFA written on the tail, and because in Plane Maker, because all these planes are just made with Plane Maker, so I paint them in paint. Yeah, it doesn't look too detailed, but the point is that the tail has a symmetrical logo, so it can be put on each side of the tail without being backward. I don't have to change it the other way around right now. Go on, so I don't have to put more. I don't have to put two sides of the tail as well on the bitmap for the paint of this airplane. I can just put one there with a symmetrical logo, so NF and A on the tail there. So I haven't been to Atlanta for a long time, but I seem to recall there's about 75 runways all facing west-east, so I think, you know, we've got to work out which is which. Try not to land on the wrong one. I think I'm just going to land on whichever one I see first, to be honest. All I know is we're coming in from the east, we're going to land into the west, so yeah, it'll be runway 8 left, 8 right, 9 left, or 9 right. As long as it's not a taxiway, which has probably happened before, then I'm sure we're doing okay. So the highest ground speed we've had on this flight was, I think, 315. I can't remember correctly, is that right? And now it's gone a bit slower. So we had 362 miles an hour, not very impressive really. That said, I think these speed and altitude combinations are a more economical speed and altitude combination. I think the plane would actually cruise at 400 miles an hour, more like at 12 or 13,000 feet, not at 20,000. For one thing, it has more power available at, say, 14 or 15,000 feet, and it's above the critical altitude here at 20,000 feet. I believe down at 15 or 14,000 feet we could get up to nearly 3,000 HP per engine. And it could sustain then 400 miles an hour at that height. So when doing a more economical flight we tend to be flying a bit higher and slower. Good comprehensive 2D panel. Personally, I hate 3D cockpits and they take ages to make, so you're not going to ever be seeing a 3D cockpit on these planes. Don't like it, tough luck. It's all about the 2D panel here. Alrighty, we're going to intercept the next intersection here. 5 seconds. Good. So even though this plane has been slowed down today by a headwind, it's easy to see that the performance is still excellent. It has lots of power. Still doing just under 10,000 HP total. To maintain this sort of speed, it is a pretty high speed for a piston plane. Lost a little more ground speed, but still got 7,000 pounds of fuel left. We're not going to be landing with, you know, a couple hundred kilograms, unlike some people. Not that we use kilograms. I might be English, but we use pounds in this country, I believe. I'm not sure. I think the pilots use kilograms, but I personally prefer to use imperial measurements. As you'll probably notice on my videos, I always use pounds and feet, whatever, inches. The good thing is I know what they are like to convert between them in my head. I can work them out pretty easily, so for example, 100 kilograms is 220 pounds. Likewise, 1,000 kilograms is 2,200 pounds, and so on. So 7,000 pounds of fuel at the moment is, it's got to be about 3,000 kilograms. 3 tons. 3 metric tons of fuel. Which I think is more than enough. Updated weather, so we've got 10 mile an hour from the southwest, gust 21, pressure 2961, whatever the hell that means, and visibility 10 miles. Is it exactly 10 miles or what? Yeah, open clouds at 1500. Looks like an ILS approach. I don't know the runways into Atlanta, so. There are tons of runways here. How many runways are there? Like, look at this. What the hell is this? There's 50 runways. So I think we're going to be landing into the west. So I want runway 27. Is that right? 27. Left or right? Doesn't matter. Which one's nearest the terminal building? Probably right. Let's go with 27 right. Yeah, this is going to be 111.3. At the moment, you wouldn't think the weather's going to be that bad, but it probably will be when I get there. Atlanta's 1,000 feet above sea level, so I'll be sending to about 4,500. WRB, can someone tell me what that is? Because I don't know. Okay. MC in as well, just after that. Someone is watching this, if anyone does. I mean, hopefully somebody out of the 10 people who watched the video might think, well, if this is a 1950 era piston plane, it wouldn't have a autopilot panel like that, remote control panel with the windows for altitude and everything. Well, yeah, but this has been updated to modern avionics standards. Just like those guys who fly the reconditioned B-29s in America, they have like a GPS on there. You wouldn't have had that in World War II, would you? No, so cut the crap. Nobody cares. It just makes flying it much easier. Nobody wants to have some irritating old-fashioned autopilot where you have to twiddle around with a pitch selection knob to make it fly at the right height and everything. From like 1943. Yeah. Anyway, so to all the 3 people watching the video right now who started watching, I do hope you're still watching it, because I know many people that only watch, I mean, according to YouTube analytics, many people only watch about 5 minutes of the video. Why do people have such short attention spans? If you started watching a video, you just keep watching it. Or maybe watch it at a time when you don't have to be interrupted by something else. I think it's disgustingly rude. Do you know that? That you people would go on my video and just watch 5 minutes and be like, nah, this guy's boring, I'm not watching this. How rude. It's disgraceful. And with that said, if you are still watching the video, thank you so much. I'm really happy. Make sure you smash down that like button. Smash down that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, I can tell you now, you'll live to regret it. Okay, anyway, it's a few miles till top of descent here. In about 7 nautical miles distance, or 8 or 9 perhaps, maybe perhaps, possibly, maybe. So yeah, I'm just going to record the flight videos I make just for fun. I mean, I only do it for fun. I'm not like Captain Canada, who likes to have, you know, like 10 million subscribers all watching him fly a 737 or A320 or something. I mean, basically, he does it for fun too, I get it, of course he does, but, you know, I literally don't care if I don't make any money off this or anything, which of course I'd have to get another 997 subscribers to even start monetizing the videos anyway, so I don't really care. I just do it for the fun of it. I like designing planes, I like to then fly them on here. And I don't really care if other people particularly watch them that much or not. They're just there to be watched. That's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. I'm pretty sure most people would get fucked off with my awful voice anyway, because it's just so irritating. But like I said, I don't care. Tough. Okay, we're going to start descending now. Speed hold. Well, that's not good. Yeah, that's very not good. Very ungood indeed. I can't say this kind of thing happens very often, but I've obviously mishandled this, and this is going to be awkward, isn't it? Is that because I had the auto... This plane does have auto throttle on it, but is that because I had it on it? It's somehow blown up the engines 1, 2, 3, so we've got only engine number 4 currently working. The one engine approach to Atlanta. Well, this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Oh no. Heavens above. I will say it's not great, but you know. So the upshot of this is that 3 of our 4 engines have blown up at the top of descent. I must have just... I think the auto thrust system was responsible for this actually, because I should have turned it off before I went into idle power, well, descent power, but it's just, yeah, it's blown up, so whatever. We've got 1 engine left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put water injection on for the engine number 4, because this plane actually, I think it does have water on it, even though I didn't actually use it on takeoff, so it should work, I think. Because I don't think I actually remembered to not put water on it. I think it loads it by default when you load the plane up, so... Does it have boost on it? If it does, I'll come in with the number 4 engine with water injection on. The main thing to think about here is I don't want to get the plane too slow on approach. I'm going to do a slightly faster approach because we only have one engine that works. Descending kind of a bit quickly for my liking. I think having 1 out of 4 engines probably is part of the reason why that might be. Get some more power on it. Is that going to make much difference? A little bit. We can run engine number 4 at 3,000 HP nearly. No, it's currently at 2,800. Let's get up to 3,000. And we're gonna need. I'm gonna cut this approach really quite short because of this. This is obviously not good. So we'll get the ILS thing sorted now. Course 269. Still descending quite fast, isn't it? I can't really put the water injection on yet because it will run out and I want it until I land really, so so I'm heading Oh man, we've already got a descend in a moment. This is not good. I've got to start looking out for other airports I could land at if I can't get to Atlanta. At this point, we've got KHMP just to our west there. It's not going to maintain speed, is it, really? Let's get full power on for number 4. Damn, this is not good. It's slowing down really fast. What if we put water injection on? No, that's not helping. This is... I have control. So could we get to Atlanta? It's slowing down. So it's no, it's not going to happen, I don't think. Right, we have an airport that's just off to our left here. We're going to land there because I'm not gonna fuck around like KHMP. I don't even care how long the runway is. We're just going to have to land on it. Right, so I can't even see it, that's the trouble. The visibility is shit, so this is... We have to land soon. This plane will not climb, it cannot fly level on 1 engine. We have lost 3 of our 4 engines, guys. It's still slowing down at 1,500 feet per minute descent rate. This is... bad. We're not going to make it. Get below minimum control speed and we're going to be fucked as well. We're below the glide slope for this place. Can we get there? Or are we going to die? Got a little bit of speed to work with here. I'm not going to get the gear down or the flaps until the very last moment. No, I think we're alright. I think we can do this fine. I think we're going to be alright here. Looks like the passengers is going to have to get a bus to Atlanta. It's not very far away. Right, gear down, please. What? Yeah, the gear's down. Damn, this isn't good, is it? Shut up. Okay, get the flaps down. Very late, I know. Just help us stop as well. Look at that. All those propellers stopped. And those engines are supposed to be on, right? Flaps up. Ridiculous, man. Full power on engine number 4 just to taxi at 20 knots. Yeah, I mean, it's not what you want. This doesn't really look like an airfield for big planes. The runway was just about adequate, but we're going to have to park alongside these Cessnas and things, right? So let's turn right here. That's a very, very, very narrow taxiway. Yeah. Can we not start any of these engines? I don't see how they've all blown up. Like, this is just very odd. Very odd indeed. Let's try number 1. Oh, now it works. Great. Awesome. Are you serious, mate? Right, in that case we'll fly to Atlanta. Right, off we go. So... well folks, the flight shall continue. I don't know what happened there. I couldn't restart engines 1 to 3 in flight, but I managed to get them going on the ground, so we will continue to our final destination. Yes, our final destination. Which will hopefully be a runway somewhere. this is actually at the airport everyone was intending to fly to. Right, so let's look at the map. What does it say here? Don't know, I've realised I've set the altimeter wrong as well. That's supposed to be 2960, isn't it? Yeah, 2960. Don't go off the side of the runway, up taxiway. So 60, so... Yeah, I got so distracted by the engine shutdowns that happened that I actually forgot to set the altimeter properly, but it's 2960, isn't it? So we'll do the flight here. This is runway 6, we don't want that, do we? Well, we're going to take off on it anyway, there's not much, we burnt some fuel off, so that should be fine. We just want to get to Atlanta, so let's see, Atlanta is not that far, 16 nautical miles to our north. I think. Right, off we go. So takeoff speed should be about 120 probably, I reckon. It's slightly less than when we took off earlier. Gear up. Shit. So, right, airport's directly to the north, good. Right, let's head that way. Yeah, we could probably just stay below this overcast and should be alright. Right, so, only 14 nautical miles away now. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's been a strange flight, I must say. Just trying to see if I can see that runway. Yeah. Pretty close right now. Kind of interesting because the 39-100, which is what this plane is, was known for sort of reliability issues anyway, so engines did used to fail on this plane quite often, so that's not surprising that that would happen. Kind of normal, actually. But as you can see, like once you get on the ground, you can kind of start them again, which is interesting. I think that's the airport there, isn't it? Yeah, big bunch of buildings and things. Probably is, I reckon. We'll start a gradual turn to final. Okay, and we're established on the final. Gear down. Shut up. Nobody cares. Some flaps in there. Quiet. Wasn't as good as the first landing, but at least it was a landing and not a crash. Which at one point looked like it was going to be quite likely. Anyway, the point is we're here in Atlanta and there is a slight delay, unfortunately, folks. I'm very sorry about that, but that's just one of those things. All in a day's work, as they say. And we'll turn off up here. I'm sure everybody will be very glad to get off this aeroplane. Not our finest design, obviously. I think we should sue the engine manufacturer. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. Let's go in here, I think. Good. Thanks very much for flying with us, and thanks for watching the entire video, obviously, if you did, and of course you didn't, but if you did, thank you very much for enjoying the uneventful flight today to Atlanta. Hopefully you all slept through that flight and have just woken up. Now get the hell off my plane.